one. Oops. And so you need to hit continue in order to continue now that we're recording. I just want to point out the wonderful people who are sharing their expertise with us tonight. We have Alicia Temple from Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency. We have Julie Gordon and Brooke Laurent from Traverse City Area Public Schools. I'm sorry, Julie is actually from Northwest Education Services. We have Jessie King, who's here from Great Start to Quality. Tracy Spincich, also from Northwest Education Services. Jessica Zazina from Northwest Education Services. And I'm going to turn things now over to Missy Smith, who is our Great Start collaborative parent liaison and sharing the co-coordinator duties with me. I'm Mary Manner, and I'm so happy that you're here. Okay, take it away, Missy.
Thank you, Mary. Welcome, everyone. I wanted to begin by sharing a few outcomes with you tonight and what we're hoping is accomplished in our presentation. We are hoping that you understand preschool options and supports that are available in our region, as well as understanding the application process and having an opportunity to ask and discuss questions, keeping it really simple. That leads into an agenda, how that all will bleed together. We'll just have this introductions with program offerings will be explained. And then we'll have time, probably about the last, we're hoping for 30 minutes of question and discussion time at the end, with, of course, some fun giveaways throughout the presentation. So stay tuned. Just to begin, why we're here, because we're hoping that we see and can have a window to communicate the importance of preschool and how 90% of a child's brain really develops by age 5. This is a continuation of the early learning process, and it prepares them for success in school and beyond. So lots of really great things for some parents. Some parents think, might remember kindergarten. Kindergarten, as you remember, it really is kind of the new preschool. This is what preschool is all about. So kindergarten is a little bit different. So we have lots of great options to help prepare families and children. What does quality preschool look like? What do teachers, what are they doing? They're getting down on children's levels. They're taking time to learn and explore through play, and having a balance of child and teacher directed play and activities in a classroom space or a center base. And creating a community, so that really it's that social interaction, creating respect and trust and patience, those life skills that are fostered in a preschool setting. And we have options available through our different agencies. You'll get to hear the difference in those programs and offerings with Head Start, Strong Beginnings, as well as the Great Start Readiness Preschool Program. Great Start to Quality is here this evening to help us understand how we can search for private tuition-based options for preschool. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Alicia Temple from Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency to help us understand our Head Start offering. Alicia.
Thanks, Missy. Hi, everyone. I'm Alicia Temple, as she has said, and I work with Head Start and Early Head Start. And so you can go right on to the next slide. So what is Head Start Preschool? It's a federally funded quality preschool for children that are ages 3 to 5. We do service also the Early Head Start, which is pregnant women to age 3. So you might get confused sometimes with the difference between Head Start and Early Head Start, and that is a difference. So just the ages. We operate 4 days a week, 7 hours per day. We have 3 or 4 teachers to 18 children in our classroom. We serve breakfast, snack, and lunch, family style, and we have indoor and outdoor play throughout our daily schedule. Next slide. So another couple unique things about Head Start, that we prepare children for kindergarten using creative curriculum and a play-based learning. And you're going to hear that as familiar throughout the whole slide, is that a lot of our preschool programs do follow that creative curriculum piece. Head Start supports the health and wellness of the child, and so we do require that children have an up-to-date physical, dental, vision, and hearing screening. This is really important for us because we believe that when children feel better, they learn better, and so we want to be sure that those requirements are met, and we have what we call recruitment health specialists that work with the families to obtain those dentals and physicals. We also have additional services to support the child's nutrition, mental health, social, and emotional needs. We partner with mental health consultants that can come into the home or into the classrooms to work with children and families. We follow the Becky Bailey's conscious discipline style. We really believe that Head Start is for the whole family. And so we partner with the whole family as the child's #1 teacher. And then we just partner with that and to bridge school to home so that there's a consistency for the child between the two. We put on a lot of, we'll get into that. So we also offer a lot of resources, referrals, and then family goal setting, which we have a family engagement specialist that also will work with the family for any additional needs that the family might need. Next slide, Missy. To be eligible for Head Start, the income does have to be below the 100% of poverty level. We do have additional allowances for over income that we can use. But for an example, a family of 4 needs to make less than $26,500 for the year. Any family that receives any public assistance, so cash assistance or supplemental security income, also makes a child eligible, and that could be anybody in the household receiving that. Any children that are in foster home or children experiencing homelessness. We also really, like I had said before, we focus on the whole family. And so we do have a lot of parent involvement pieces. We do home visits and parent-teacher conferences. We have family engagement activities, parent meetings. We have leadership opportunities through what we call policy council or a governing board, which the policy council reps will sit on interviewing for classroom staff. Also, we have a health service advisory committee. And then we also love to have parents and families volunteer in the classroom or even become a sub for our classrooms. So these are just a couple of testimonials from Head Start from a couple families. So one of them said, our son loved this program and is always mentioning things he saw or did at school. He had so much social development in the last year that he would not have had without this program. And then also, I have grown as a parent so much because of this program. All of my children will go to the program. And then these are our different locations within the 5 counties. You might notice that Leelanau County isn't listed here. We do serve Leelanau County, but Leelanau County has a tribal Head Start that's ran with a different agency. And so we don't want to step on their toes either. So they have that Head Start out there. And they also have, we do have our home visiting program in Leelanau County. So for our pregnant women and 0 to 3 children. So in Antrim County, we have Mansalona Head Start. In Kalkaska County, we have Kalkaska Head Start. And then Rapid City Head Start is a new location to us that's still pending. Benzie County, we have 2 classrooms at Platte River, which is in Beulah, and then 1 classroom at Betsy Valley in Thompsonville. And then in Grand Traverse County, we have 2 classrooms out at Chum's Corners, 1 at the Discovery Head Start, which is on 3 Mile, 2 at Traverse Heights on Rose Street, 1 in Mill Creek out in Williamsburg, and then 1 in Hannah between Traverse and Kingsley. And for those of you wondering about transportation, transportation does vary throughout our classrooms, but As of right now, we have Traverse Heights, Mansalona, Platte River, Mill Creek, and Betsy Valley have transportation available to them. Okay, and so that is the end of Head Start. We're moving on to Missy. Whoops, you're muted, Missy.
Thank you, Alicia. It wouldn't really be a very fun meeting if we couldn't have a chance for you to interact and win some prizes. So I'm launching a couple of polls. One poll that I'd like you to participate, I meant to put this earlier, is we just want to know, who are you? So go ahead and tell us who you are here tonight as a parent, an early learning or care professional, or an other perhaps. And if you do choose other, I might invite you to share your role with it in the chat. We'd love to know who you are and what brings you with us tonight. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and looks like most people have responded. We'll end the polling and you can see who's here tonight. Mostly parents, but we definitely have some others and some early care and learning professionals with us tonight. So thank you for helping us know who's here. Now for the fun part, we would like to, this is kind of, forgive me, I haven't done back-to-back polls, so this is kind of a new thing for me technologically. This is kind of fun. So your next poll, real quickly, since we are doing pretty well with our time, we're going to go ahead and relaunch. Oh, hang on a sec. Continue. Thank you for, oh, here it is. Here we go. We have our next question. Here you go. Do children have to be potty trained to attend preschool? Give us your best answer. Yes, no, or maybe you're not sure. All right, looks like we have some responses still rolling in. And we're going to go ahead and end the polling. And you can see we're kind of half and half here, unsure. 60. So, but with that, we have our expert. We have our expert answerer here, Tracy Spinsich. Can you give us the true answer to this question? Do children have to be potty trained?
Expert answerer. So as far as Head Start and GSRP, the answer to that is no, they do not have to be potty trained. It's always or Strong Beginnings, and even many of our tuition as well, but we would encourage you to always talk with those local programs. But potty trained is not a requirement of the program. We take all children just as they come to us. So
wonderful.
Know that as you think about moving forward.
Thank you, Tracy. And now for the fun part, the prizes. Here we go. Hang on a sec. Meant to get our link here. We have a wheel and we're going to spin. Your names are all up there if you've registered for tonight. So winning a Talking is Teaching kit tonight. All right. We have Tiffany M as our winner tonight. Tiffany, if you're in the house, go ahead and enter your in the chat. We'll write you down and reach out to you about receiving your prize for today's our little giveaway. So with that, we're going to move along and head back to our presentation. Here we go with Great Start Readiness Program.
Thanks, Missy. Hi, everyone. I'm Tracy Spinsich, the 0 to 5 Early Childhood Coordinator for Northwest Education Services, formerly TBAISD, and I get the good fortune of talking with you tonight in a nutshell about GSRP, which stands for Great Start Readiness Program. So you will likely hear too a lot of similarities between what Alicia said. Both Head Start and GSRP operate very similarly with just a few differences, but largely you'll hear a lot of things that sound the same and that are being repeated. We do run pretty comparable programs. So Great Start is a high quality preschool program for children who are 4 years old by December 1st. So they'd have to be for this December 2021, but there is a small window. So if they're 4 by September 1, they have priority. And then if there are still spaces and slots available for by December 1. So there is that small window of time. We try to make sure that we get any kids who are kindergarten eligible for the following year to be able to have those spaces in programming, and then it would open up for those with September through December birthdays. Our program is funded by the Michigan Department of Education. We have about just shy of 50 classrooms currently across the region. I didn't list them all in the way that Alicia did, but you can always reach out to to me or to any of the contacts you'll see on this. And also check in, we have many within local school districts, but we also have community-based partners. So there are programs within daycare, childcare centers as well. So if you're wondering about particular programs, always check in with your local district, and or later we'll be going over with our Great Start to Quality friends, the website where you could access and see all of those program options as well. So like Head Start, Great Start Readiness Program is a preschool program that really has the whole child approach. There's often questions around kindergarten readiness and what do they do and are they going to be prepared? We really look at the whole child in the same way that Head Start does. Social emotional skills are a really big focus, right? So that ability to sit at circle with their friends for 10 minutes, the ability to take turns and take deep breaths when they're feeling frustrated. Those are all that foundation to all of the academic skills that come later. So they will also learn all those other components as well. It's just very much in a play-based routine. Research tells us that children of that age retain information better through play versus sort of the flashcard type approach. So everything is very much a play-based learning process. And the daily routines are similar to your typical preschool classroom. So there's indoor or there's outdoor time, there's rest time. We have what's called free choice time or centers time. This is where kids just get to explore the classroom and play in a way that they want to play. And then there are, of course, those opportunities with a little bit more planning around real direct goals of teachers for small group and large group. With that is meals. So they also get breakfast, snacks, or lunch, depending on how the program is set up. But there's always a multitude of meals that are served. And they are served, this year they weren't because of COVID, but typically family style. And this would be the same for Head Start too. So this is when they sit down at the table with their teacher and a handful of friends and they pass the food around. So not in the cafeteria style, but in the classroom together. Curriculum and assessment is similar to what Alicia mentioned as well. We do creative curriculum, which is a framework that really gives teachers a chance to plan based around child interests of the classroom. And there is also an assessment, teaching strategies gold that we use, where kids are assessed 3 times throughout the year. And this is, again, it's not the testing you might hear about once they get into kindergarten and beyond. This is more observational, anecdotal information that they are working when they're playing with the kids or doing an activity that they're paying attention to see where they're at. Transportation is offered in some areas. I know I did see a question around transportation when looking at the questions, just wondering why it's not offered everywhere. It really depends on the district and the program that's running it. There's just different components that come in terms of licensing and just what the district is and isn't able to offer. So that's why it's not necessarily in every area, but check in with your local district if you had a question specific to transportation. And then we have one less team member than our Head Start friends. We typically run classrooms of 16 and have a teaching team of 2. And then just, I wanted to put at the bottom, again, all children, regardless of their developmental milestones and their readiness, right? A word we're hearing a lot lately. We, all of our programs take all children just as they are. So please don't fret if they're not potty trained or they don't know the letters in their name or what, any of those worries that are. That's kind of the exciting piece of preschool, right? We take them all and love them and get them to whatever that next step is. So just wanted to make sure that that was clear as well. parent involvement pieces are, again, similar. We do 2 parent-teacher conferences throughout the year where they will go over that assessment that they do with you or with your child and throughout the classroom. There's also opportunity for 2 home visits. Typically, one is at the beginning of the year and one is at the end of the year. And this is really just a chance for teachers to build relationships with both your child as well as you. Seeing the kiddo in their home, you all probably know, having little ones, right? Kids get excited to show off their stuff, and it just kind of starts that connection right from the get-go as they're coming into that classroom routine. So there's those 2 home visits. We always offer 2 to 3 parent advisory committees. This is an opportunity for parents and community stakeholders, whoever would like to be, we like to have as many as possible, to provide feedback around the programming and classroom experiences and opportunities. So this happens twice a year. Typically, they're very localized to where your classroom is. So if it's a community where there's 3 classrooms, then you would oftentimes see those 3 classrooms coming together and working to get some feedback to continue to make the programming the best that it can be for both you and your children. And then there's also those informal classroom opportunities. Again, without COVID, parents are always welcome in. There are some paperwork and some processes that have to be gone through, but there's always those informal classroom opportunities for families to be a part of as well. Just a parent testimonial out of Antrim County that we received a couple of weeks ago. The GSRP program has benefited my family in many ways. It not only taught our little one routine and social practices, but was also a great step towards kindergarten. We love this program and would recommend. The teachers are amazing. So GSRP eligibility, and I will say, as Alicia was talking, and you're going to now hear me, you might be wondering, well, but how do we apply? What do we do? That part's coming. So just hold tight. We are going to go over kind of the process for how you apply in just a bit here. So GSRP eligibility is, again, must be 4 years old on or before December 1st. September 1 is given priority. The income is a higher income base than Head Start. So it's 250% of poverty or less. So just to give you an example, a family of 4 would be 66,250. And we always tell families, even if you think you might not qualify, please fill out that application. There are a very small amount of slots, very limited, but nonetheless, we still don't ever want anybody to not fill it out in the event that they could qualify. There is a very limited amount of over income slots that are available. We get about 10% of those to cover our whole 5-county region. And then a few other eligibility factors would just be if your child has an individualized education plan or an IEP with 1755 services. If their primary home language is anything other than English, and if there's homelessness or if the child is in foster care. So those are the big ones. But again, that application process is just something that we recommend families of that age child to do. And I'm going to turn it over to Jessica Zasina for Strong Beginnings. And then after that is when we'll get to that eligibility kind of steps to apply piece.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks, Tracy, for introducing me. And I'm lucky because I kind of get to say ditto to everything that Tracy said about Strong Beginnings, except we're going to replace 4 years old with 3 years old. So instead of this program running for 4-year-olds, this is a program specifically targeted for 3-year-olds. And it is a federally funded pilot program, so we have 6 months under our belt. There are currently 10 sites that are running in the entire state of Michigan, and we were fortunate to have 3 of those sites in the northern Michigan region here that Northwest Ed worked with. And so Strong Beginnings is modeled after GSRP, so the same type of qualifying factors, the same curriculum, the same styles, and the same benefits that you would get with GSRP are offered to our Strong Beginnings families, but we've made modifications to take into consideration that these are 3-year-old students. There's also a couple of other additional perks that come with the program that we'll get to maybe at the next slide. Let me see if you wouldn't mind switching for me. So just like Tracy said, it is play-based learning all the way because we're dealing with 3-year-olds, just students just turning 3. And so because of that, we actually have a ratio of 2 adults for 14 students. So the max cap is 14 students in our programs. You will, if students are involved in the program, the teacher and the students and the parents have access to an early childhood specialist, which is someone that can help problem solve, just another resource in the classroom for parents and teachers to use and students too. And we also have a family liaison, which would more resemble some of the supports that Head Start would offer students. The family liaison's job would be to work directly with families to support goals, connect them to services. And oftentimes we've had great conversations this year with families who are looking for how to help enrich their child's development or things to do over the summer. So it's not just coordinating resource needs, but it's also supporting families, what they'd like to know about. We offer parent-teacher conferences, all of those things that Tracy had said, and often most of the same things that Alicia shared. But we do only currently have 3 programs, and that will continue for next year. And so we have one offered at Mansalona Elementary School, one offered at Crystal Lake Elementary School, and one of our centers is located at the Munson NMC Children's Learning Center in Traverse City. Okay, next. Thanks. So parents are equally as happy with the program that they received this year. I spoke with a parent who attended, this particular parent attended several of our parent education series, and one of the biggest takeaways that she had was the growth of her son's social emotional development since he started the program, because he was 3 and he hadn't been in a setting prior to enrolling this year, and so just had an opportunity to engage with other children. And so she was really thankful that that was available to him and to her. Okay, next. Okay, one of the big differences with Strong Beginnings, and I would hope that even if Strong Beginnings isn't the program for you, but you do have a child that's 3 years old and eligible, this is something that we would love for all families to consider. Because we are a pilot program through the federal government, we are trying to prove that early preschool or access to early high quality preschool is beneficial to children long term. And so this program is attached to an MSU research study. And so I think, Missy, if you wouldn't mind, could you click on that link, and let's hope that it might just explain that a little bit. There we go. Okay. And so what the research study does is it takes a look at the experience of the program from the student's perspective, from the teacher's perspective, and from the family's perspective as well. And so in order to do that, what they do is they will pass out different surveys, and they ask families to complete those surveys. They ask teachers to complete those surveys. And then each time they participate, they're rewarded with some type of gift card. So depending on what program you're enrolled in, your time could be compensated with a local gift card or an Amazon gift card. So it just depends on where you are. The students will be given an online assessment, which are very game oriented. So the kids think they're playing games. They're in the room with a comfortable person. And so the kids don't particularly know that they're involved in the research study unless we'd like us to explain that. They think they're playing some games, and so we just track before and after. And so really the goal is to look at is having preschool at the 3-year-old level making a difference for students that are not in a program. Okay, if you wouldn't mind, Missy, just backing out. So the important message on that I'd like to share is that even if you are not involved in the Strong Beginnings classroom, but you do have an eligible child, MSU is still asking for those folks to participate in the study if they are interested. You will still have the same benefits. You'll still be given surveys. You'll still be compensated for your time in that way, but they really would like to show just see where our families ending up if they're not in Strong Beginnings, and what does that look like for them. And then the other piece that I'm sorry, I did forget to mention was that if you are enrolled in Strong Beginnings and you are part of the program, you automatically will get a spot into GSRP. So even if your income has changed or any of your risk factors has changed, if you've been a part of Strong Beginnings, you are guaranteed a spot in a GSRP classroom of your choosing. So we have some families, for instance, who attended our Mansalona Strong Beginnings classroom, but they're actually a Kalkaska family and they chose to go at GSRP in Kalkaska, and that's fine. So if you are interested, your application, filling out an application, which I think they're going to talk about next, can get you started into that process for the study if that's something you would like to pursue, even if you choose not to do Strong Beginnings program with us. I think that was it. Yep. Okay. I think, is that you, Alicia? Are you next?
It's me. Thank you, Jessica.
Okay. Thanks.
So yeah, so the enrollment process is next, and that's always the burning question. I saw a lot of those questions on there. Is how do we apply? How do you become eligible? So the first step is to complete the pre-application online, and that's at the www.nmcaa.net, or you can go to the 5-to-1 website, which is 5to1.org/connect. And what happens is then after you complete that pre-application, your information will go into a spreadsheet, and then somebody will contact you within 10 days, business days, to do the rest of the application process over the telephone. Our hope is that we'll start doing this more in person as the year gets on and we get out of COVID a little bit more. But as of right now, we're doing a lot of our applications over the telephone. If you're unable to do that over the telephone, we could meet in person if needed too. There is paperwork that you would have to provide. Just like all the programs, there is an eligibility ranking, and it's all based off of income. And so we do need like paycheck stubs or W-2s or 1040s. The good news is for the unemployment, we do not have to count any of those additional funds that were awarded from the federal government or any stimulus checks. So unemployment this year will just be that base amount that was received from Michigan. You also need your child's birth certificate. We have to be able to prove that your child is age eligible for our programs. So the best way for that is a birth certificate. Sometimes we can get it off of our MICRD, the immunization records, if you don't have your child's birth certificate. But know that the best way that you will need a birth certificate for sure to get into kindergarten. And so getting it now is a good thing to do. And then also we talked about the proof of income, and then immunization records. And then if you're a foster care family or you have guardianship of your, a grandchild or a grandparent right now, as guardianship, we will need proof of that information also. If you're a homeless family, we would connect you with the homeless liaison for the local school district for more resources also, and then they will determine you being McKinney-Vento eligible, which is homelessness eligible. There might be additional paperwork. Sorry, Missy, I broke there for a minute. Okay. There may be additional paperwork depending on your situation, or if you have your IEP available, we always would like to get a copy of that. Insurance cards sometimes, because the classroom sometimes need the insurance cards in case of an emergency. So there is additional paperwork that might be asked of you, but during that interview process that you would have, they'll let you know if you need any additional paperwork.
All right, we ready, Alicia?
I'm ready. Thank you.
Okay, it's time for polls and prizes. Lots of fun. We're going to go ahead. We've got a poll here. When can I enroll my child in preschool for the 2021 school year? So let's go ahead and take this poll. Go ahead and complete your answer. You have some different choices there. Last week, beginning July 1, the sooner the better, or all of the above. All right, I'm going to end the polling here. So go ahead, and our enrollment expert here, Tracy Spinsich, can you help us know the best answer to when they can enroll their children in preschool for the 2021 school year?
Yeah, you were all right. All of the above. So any of those options, we have been taking apps already for the 21-22 school year. The sooner you get them in, the better, just because at this point, classrooms and districts and programs are beginning to look at their applications and contact families to let them know for placement for the fall. So, and that's for GSRP and Head Start. Again, even tuition programs as well. You could be connecting with them, as I'm sure they are also already enrolling kids for the fall too. So check in if you have a specific tuition classroom you're looking for Head Start and GSRP. Anytime, set up an appointment or go and do that pre-application and get the ball rolling, and we'll work to have someone in contact with you to get all the paperwork filled out.
Excellent. And tell us what's in this next Talking is Teaching giveaway bag. We have a social emotional kit, from what I understand. So we're going to spin to see who's the lucky winner. Oops, again, my link is too close to the slide advanced. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and see who's our lucky winner. It looks like Timothy B will be reaching out to you via email to claim your prize. And back we go. And moving along, I'll turn it over to our friends at Great Start to Quality, Jesse King, if you'd like to go ahead and share with us.
Thanks, Missy. Hello, everybody. Good evening. I just quickly wanted to go over our website. This is a really brief overview of how to look up licensed high-quality childcare. So you can see the arrow pointed to our main website link. Missy, go ahead and advance to the next slide real quick. So this would be on the main screen that will come up. The two big green buttons I always tell parents to look for, the Find Programs, and you just click on that button and it will take you to this next screen. And a lot of people don't want to create an account at first, which I get. So luckily there's a login as a guest option. And so you would click on that option. Then it will take you to the next page where you have all sorts of filters to choose from. We've done an example here. Licensed centers, you can see up there, and search the city and zip code. You can search address, schools. Another cool feature is you can search like a radius, like a miles away or from wherever you're looking, if you want to be close to your work, home, etc. You can also search the type of programs. So for this purpose, we just chose GSRP, and then you click the green Find button, and that will take you to the next screen where there are a list of programs that are nearby. And all of these are licensed and high quality. And if you look at the two arrows here, it will have like their website, phone numbers. It's very helpful. A lot of programs have a detailed description, which you can see here for tonight's purpose. And also an image is provided for some locations. And then go ahead, let's go to the next one. And these are just the different types of childcare and preschool options. They're centered based, which includes centers, private religious preschools, group homes, which are home based, which can go from 1 to 12 children, and then family childcare, which is home-based, up to 6 children. The next slide, please. Thank you. These are just a few tips that we thought would be worth mentioning for you to consider when you're looking for high quality childcare. You always want to make sure they're licensed. That means that there is oversight and that they are providing high quality care. You want to consider hours of operation. Sometimes families need certain days and times that fit their schedules better. Also cost and fees, and the location, obviously. Transportation is always a big thing to think about. And it's also a good idea to visit in person when children are present, and or attend an open house, and to always check the licensing reports, which you can find on the internet. And finally, if you're ever needing help to go through this process, you can always reach out to any of us at the Resource Center. I do cover the Grand Traverse area along with Kalkaska. So we have my email address here, and this is also our hotline where you can leave a message and I will get back to you. Just also a little quick note, our Resource Center covers a 10-county region, which includes Antrim, Benzie, Grand Traverse, Kalkaska, and Leelanau. And I think that's it. I'm gonna turn it back over to Missy.
Excellent. Thanks, Jessie. I'm going to move it right to Brooke and to Julie, who will help us understand those services and programs that are available for students who qualify for special education services.
Hi, everyone. I'm Julie Gordon. I'm one of the special education supervisors at Northwest Education Services, formerly TBA ISD. And we really just want to reinforce wherever your child is developmentally, preschool is ready, and we will determine supports. So special education is offered at the preschool level. And here's just a quote about an interactive concept of readiness. Suggests that as much attention should be given to school's readiness for children as to children's readiness for schools. So that's just the idea that schools will be ready for all children, regardless of where those children are developmentally. So next slide. And what we have in the law is something called child find, and it's a legal requirement that to find all children who might have a disability and might be entitled to special education services. So in Michigan, we are a state where every child from birth through the age of 25 is has the possibility for being eligible for special education services and programming. And so if a school believes that a child might have a disability, they have an obligation to offer an evaluation to you. And that next slide. And what we have at North Ed, so we have a new name. Instead of TBA ISD, it's Northwest Education Services, and North Ed for short. We have a referral process because we do have a preschool assessment team that evaluates 3 to 5 year olds. There is also early on, which supports 0 to 3. So if you call this number and you have somebody who's actually less than 3, you'll be able to get support there too. And so what would happen is if you had concerns about your child's development, you'd call to set up a preschool assessment. Over the summer, you will get a call back and potentially get scheduled, but assessments aren't completed over the summer. The evaluation process would be evaluation services for all school districts in our 5-county region to assist in identifying any needs of students showing signs of developmental delay. An evaluation might include, there will be parent interviews or guardian interviews. There will be observations. So if your child is in a program in the fall and there are concerns, there might be observations in that program, like for speech or something like that. And then potentially assessments depending on what the concerns are. And with that, I will hand it over to Brooke to talk about our continuum of supports.
Thank you, Julie. So if your child does qualify for special education services, we come together as a team, and parents are an important part of that team. You know your child best, so important to have voice and conversation of what that individual education plan looks like. But if a student does qualify, the team comes together and develops an IEP based on those students' needs. And this continuum is just a really visual of what supports could look like. So special education is services, but it can also be programs. It's really depending on the student's needs. Our goal in special education really is to support skills for students so they can access the learning environment and make progress with their goal areas. So this is a visual of where you start to the left and you kind of move down. We first look at always trying to include our students who receive special education services with their general ed peers. And so services can be provided in general ed preschool settings. Services could be provided in a standalone model where maybe they're just getting speech or just getting occupational therapy. And then it continues down the pathway depending on, again, the needs of the student. There are programs offered for early childhood special education programs, and then more intensive programs as we work through that continuum. But again, that's part of an individual education plan, and parents are part of that conversation, and we work right with you, along with you, to make sure we have a plan to support your child and make sure they're making the best progress that they possibly can to support early childhood. And that's it.
Thank you, Brooke. I can't believe it. We're already at another prize break and another poll. So we have a question. Few of you asked questions about waitlisting. And so our next poll question has to do with waitlists. So it's a true or false. Students can be waitlisted for preschool programs in the region. So here comes your question. And ready, set, go. All right. And maybe this one's going with the group might be a good thing here. Tracy Spitzich, I'm going to stop the polling here. Looks like almost everyone's voted. Would you like to tell us if those who guessed true are correct?
They are all correct. So there can be, this is why we said the sooner the better. There can be wait lists across the region, just depending on the classroom that you're applying for. So always fill out sooner than later. And even if you're told, even if you know ahead of time that there is a wait list and you think, oh, there's a wait list, I'm not going to bother, still fill that app out, because kids do move. And so there is always still opportunity to be able to access a program. And depending on where you're located, both Head Start and GSRP, we work very closely in partnership and just work to make sure that kids are in a space that families want them to be. So if eligible for a different classroom that's nearby, that's always an option as well. So just keep that in mind too.
Excellent. Thank you, Tracy. So tonight's prize is a copy of Deanna F. Cook's Cooking Class Global Feast. It's a book that we've used over the course of the year with our Piecemeal Solidarity Project, and we're happy to give a copy of this book to our next winner here. Oh, Alicia T. All right, Alicia, you win. Way to go. We'll be in touch.
Can you do it again?
Oh, okay. You don't want it. All right. We'll give our friends a chance. Chloe M. Chloe M, you're our winner. We will be reaching out to you, Chloe. All right. Let's go ahead back. And believe it or not, I think you get to hear me again, because our next section is about early learning. And why is early learning at home even important? And what are some ways in which you can create some opportunities for your family, even if a more formal preschool setting isn't what will work for you at this time. So we have a few ideas for you. Reading, always a win, at least 20 minutes a day, and asking questions. That engagement around literacy, direct books, getting them in hands is so meaningful. Encouraging your child to try new activities and trying them with them, playing every day, simple games and pretend play, play meetups or time to play with other children. That's so critical. I'll help you understand some opportunities for getting involved with 5-to-1 play groups. Limiting screen time is certainly something that's important as well. But activities and playgroups around the region, I'd like to introduce you to 5to1.org. We're going to look at the home screen in just a second. But I might take this opportunity just to share with you the calendar link, because sometimes seeing it live makes a big difference. So our home screen, which you'll see again in a minute, has a calendar feature over on the far right side of the screen, and it always shows the date for the day. You can click on the 5-to-1 early childhood calendar of events, and what's really nice is there's lots of different types of things to search for in the calendar, but if you really just want playgroups, you can enter one word, playgroups, and it will search. And wait, I should have just put one playgroup. Okay. And you'll see then all the playgroups come up. So you can see uniquely where the playgroups are located. At this time, we're slowly adding playgroups more and more, coming back face to face. So they're great opportunities to have your children socialize with other kids, as well as learn new things. And we always have a boost for the parents as well. So definitely supporting your work. Other resources that are available, just to help share, we have a couple of other websites. Michigan.gov/MyKidsMatter is another website that kind of if you're a big picture kind of person and you want to see how all these pieces fit together, that's a nice place to go to kind of see how does Great Start fit in with Head Start, or all of these programs. It kind of helps put that together. Next up, we have, again, the 5to1.org website, drawing your attention to not just the learn component, but the connect component. Each of the boxes in the middle for childcare, all the way through the bottom one, TriShare, is linked to connect parents directly with individuals and organizations who can provide direct support and information about that particular content area. So whether you're pregnant, expecting a new baby, or you have developmental concerns and anything in between there, Great Parenting, I run the Great Start Parents group, and we're always convening parents around topics that are important to you and helping to engage you in work and projects in the community that make a difference in early care and learning. We also would encourage you to connect with us and get up-to-date information on Facebook. You can find the 5-to-1 Neighborhood Network. And these pages, you'll receive the slide deck. Those of you who've registered to participate will receive a link to the deck where these links you can go and explore the slide deck on your own. One thing I will draw your attention to, and because you're so interested in preschool and that's why you're here, is there's a new, the Great Start Parents group actually came up with an idea to offer parents one place to see different programs and actually have a video tour of some different preschool programs. So we've put together a YouTube channel that has a unique playlist for preschool programs in the area. Right now we have about 3 programs up on in that playlist. We hope to be adding more as the summer goes on, but it's a difficult time of year to have those programs really shine and know exactly what they look like when classrooms are getting taken apart. But they will be added continually, so you can keep up to date with what those different programs look like as enrollment and application processes progress. So that is those are some highlights to keep you connected. I can't believe this, we're really ending on time. For those who are here live, we are going to put an evaluation link in the chat. We would encourage you to click on it and let us know what you thought about tonight's event and help us understand how we could improve it in the future. We also want to thank you for coming and attending tonight. We will be turning off the recording here shortly, but I've included Allison Hayes's photo on here, as she's someone through Northwest Education Services who will be handling a lot of our application or applicants in this registration process. So I wanted you to see Allison's face, and you can expect to hear from Allison or from me or from someone at NMCA to help you with the next steps in completing your application or engaging through regional playgroups. So with that, I'm going to stop our recording and we'll begin our question and answer session.